Hey there, future geniuses, it's me. And do you ever wonder who invented peanut butter? Well, it's not exactly a straightforward question. See, peanut butter actually has a really long history dating all the way back to ancient civilizations like the Inca and the Aztecs. They were grinding peanuts and mixing them with spices or chili peppers or corn to make tasty treats. And then, in the 19th century, people started getting fancy with peanut pastes, adding things like sugar and vanilla or salt and even chocolate. But those are just appetizers compared to what we're going to tell you about in this video. See, the real deal, the stuff that changed the world, that came from one man, George Washington Carver. He took this humble legume and created over 100 products from it, literally turning peanuts into gold. His work saved the American South and helped feed the world. So let's put our thinking caps on and see how he did it. If you want to understand how someone so brilliant could come from such humble beginnings, we need to go back to where it all began. George Washington Carver was born in 1864, at a time when slavery was still legal in the United States. But despite being born into slavery, Carver always felt different. Even as a child, he had big dreams. When he was around 10 years old, he wanted to be free and to become a preacher. So after hearing about the teachings of the Adventist Church, he escaped with his mother and sister from the plantation and joined a church camp meeting in Kansas. He studied hard and became a minister. At 19, he married a woman named Sue, and they set off to become missionaries. But tragically, she passed away soon after. Around this time, Carver was also developing his interest in farming. He started working as a sharecropper, basically renting land and working as a tenant farmer. He worked various farms for the next few years while continuing to study religion and science. But something happened that would change everything. An outbreak of tomato blight threatened to wipe out the entire crop. This got him thinking, how could he protect the crops from these diseases and pests? That question led him to decide to stop preaching and start farming full-time. He enrolled in Iowa State College, which is now Iowa State University, to study agriculture. In 1890, he graduated at the top of his class and became an instructor himself. But Carver knew there was a place where he could do more good than anywhere else, the American South. This region had been devastated by decades of poverty and bad farming practices. Most of the soil had been worn out and farmers were struggling to grow anything. But Carver saw an opportunity to help these farmers improve their lives, and he wanted to do it by growing peanuts. Now, peanuts weren't some magical solution. They were just legumes that happened to be easy to grow in warm climates. But what made Carver special wasn't the peanuts themselves, it was what he did with them. Carver experimented with thousands of peanut varieties, carefully selecting the best ones for things like flavor, yield, and disease resistance. He also studied the soil and discovered how to improve it by adding organic matter and changing how crops were planted. For example, he developed crop rotations, where he planted peanuts alongside other crops like cotton, sweet potatoes, and corn. This approach allowed farmers to use the land more efficiently and reduce waste. Plus, peanuts fixed nitrogen in the soil, meaning they made the soil healthier without chemical fertilizers. It was groundbreaking stuff. But that's not all. Carver went on to develop more than 100 products from peanuts, including milk, cheese, cooking oil, soap, glue, gasoline, and even plastics. He also taught farmers how to use peanut hulls and other parts of the plant that had traditionally been thrown away. Carver basically showed farmers that every part of the peanut plant had a use, and nothing should be wasted. He didn't just show them how to grow peanuts, he showed them how to make money from every bit of the peanut plant. In 1904, Carver left Iowa State to head south to Tuskegee Institute, a school for African Americans in Alabama. Here, he applied his agricultural expertise to help poor farmers. His goal was to show them that they could earn a decent living farming peanuts instead of cotton. By 1910, his efforts paid off. The New York Times reported that farmers in the area were earning around $70 per acre from peanuts, significantly more than the measly $10 to $15 they got from cotton. Carver's impact on the economy was undeniable. He boosted peanut sales from 10 cents a pound to $1.50 a pound, and that wasn't just because he created awesome products. It was also because he built factories to process and sell these products, creating jobs and economic opportunities in rural areas. Now, you might be thinking, wait, I thought peanuts were supposed to save the farmers, not the other way around. Well, you're not wrong, but it's not quite the whole story either. See, by promoting peanuts, Carver indirectly helped save the southern agriculture industry. Prior to the late 1800s, southern farmers relied heavily on cotton, but unfortunately overplanting cotton had depleted the soil of nutrients. By switching to peanuts, farmers improved their soil health, making it possible for other crops like corn and sweet potatoes to thrive again. Carver recognized this and encouraged farmers to diversify their crops, planting peanuts alongside other crops to boost soil fertility. It was a win-win situation. The farmers got a profitable crop, and the soil got a much-needed break from the intensive cotton farming. To prove his point, Carver conducted a famous experiment. He planted cotton on soil that had been continuously used for cotton farming for over 50 years, and he planted cotton on land that had been improved with peanuts. After 5 years, the difference was clear. The cotton on the peanut-enriched soil was taller, and the bolls were bigger and fuller. Carver's findings were published in a bulletin titled "How to Make an Old Soil Young Again," and it quickly became one of the most requested publications from farmers around the country. However, Carver's impact transcended the realm of agriculture. He was also a champion for racial equality and an advocate for scientific literacy. He promoted the idea that science should be accessible to everyone regardless of race or gender. He believed that by understanding science, people could improve their lives and solve problems in their communities. So he developed hands-on science classes that anyone could take. He hosted farm clinics where he taught people about crop rotation and soil testing. He even developed the first indoor golf course using grass grown in pots to teach urban folks about plant science. And his work didn't go unnoticed. Carver received numerous awards and honors during his lifetime, including from former presidents, state legislatures, and universities. In 1936, he was awarded the Spingarn Medal from the National Association for the Advancements of Colored People, which recognizes outstanding achievement by an African American. But despite all this recognition, Carver remained humble and dedicated to his work. So why don't more people know about him? Well, let's just say history hasn't always been kind to unsung heroes like Carver. You see, there was a gentleman named Henry Ford who decided to capitalize on Carver's peanut-based discoveries and promote his own brand of peanut butter. Ford sent representatives to interview Carver and learn about his process. But he never credited Carver in his marketing. In fact, Ford claimed to have invented peanut butter himself. But the truth is that we may never know who really invented peanut butter. It's lost to history. Carver continued his work at Tuskegee until his passing in 1943. Even after all these years, his ideas continue to inspire farmers and scientists. And while many of his experiments were done over 100 years ago, they're just as relevant today as they were then. He developed crop rotations that are still used today, and his methods for improving soil health are at the forefront of the current ecological farming movement. He showed farmers that they can make money growing peanuts while taking care of the environment, something that's crucial in today's world. Plus, Carver's story inspires people from all walks of life. He was a man who grew up in poverty, faced unimaginable challenges, yet still managed to achieve greatness. He reminds us that no matter where we start in life, we can achieve extraordinary things if we follow our passions and work hard. His story shows us that you don't have to change the world overnight. Just plant a few peanuts, watch them grow, and then see what happens. As Carver himself said, in the end, we will conserve and use all things. And that's what George Washington Carver did. He conserved and used all things, including peanuts, to change the world for the better. And that's why we call him a genius. Now, I want to hear from you. What surprised you the most about George Washington Carver's life and work? Let us know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like the video for more fun science adventures. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.